Hey everyone, welcome to The Culture Show. Hannah here from Purpose Jobs, the largest community of purpose-driven professionals. We are so passionate about helping folks find meaning in their work. That's why we decided to go behind the scenes with awesome startup and tech companies to really dig into their culture and what it's like to work on their team. We're so excited to share those discoveries with you and know you'll find some good nuggets along the way. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let's get started. All right. Hey, welcome back. We're thrilled to have you joining us for another episode. Today, I'll be digging deep into the culture at Signal Advisors with our delivery manager, Ian Garlock. Ian, can you start by sharing a little bit more about yourself and your role at Signal?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Ian. I am a delivery manager on the technology team at Signal Advisors. I've been with Signal for 3.5 years now, which is pretty crazy to say, but that just shows that it's cool to kind of like be along for this journey for this amount of time and still feels fresh and awesome. But yeah, I'm based just outside of Detroit, Michigan. And when I joined Signal, I think I was the 18th person that was hired, and now we have like over 100. So that alone has been pretty cool to be part of that journey as well.
Yeah, you were really one of those early team members under 20. That's always really fun and really exciting to be able to just help build and grow and influence the direction of a company. I mean, that's the startup life that we love, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's just awesome. Cool. Like I've worked at previous startups where it kind of just stayed at that like level and that amount of people. And I've like worked at companies that were, already pretty substantially like larger. But this is the first time being a part of like, seeing it grow and seeing it expand and evolve. So that's been really, really awesome.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, next, just tell us a little bit more about Signal. If you can kind of talk about, the founding story, mission, vision, like what is Signal doing in the community and in the world?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, our mission statement has always been to empower independent advisors to like help every American achieve a secure retirement, which as someone who, came to Signal without an extensive background in the financial advising space, having that as a mission statement made it pretty clear like what we wanted to do. But it's obviously a pretty intimidating, mission statement to be able to achieve that. And, you don't want to jump in day one and try to solve all of the challenges that our financial advisors face. But what's been really cool, and being here as long as I have, you start like you take it piece by piece, so we started with the annuity space, and we really made that our focus. And that was like kind of our foundational piece to the platform. And then from there we added life insurance, and then recently we've also added managed money with our Signal Wealth offering. So it's cool to kind of just see, taking that mission statement, which is pretty clear, and then like how do you achieve that? So kind of building these different pillars to just give everything our advisors need to actually make that a successful and realistic goal.
Yeah. And it's really cool, this kind of niche that you all have found with the advisor support side. I think most of the time when you hear fintech, it's more supporting the consumer. So really cool to be able to like empower those that can help, and just continue to touch so many lives.
Totally. Cool. Yeah. And it's because it is like, you do have to think about it. We have our end user is like our advisor and like the operational and admin staff for each of their firms. Then we have like our internal, our client, which is like the operational team that actually helps with that service. But then you do have that kind of extension of the advisor with like their clients. So it's just cool to kind of think about, everything that we're doing and building, how it affects each of those different parties and people. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Can you now touch a little bit on like the work environment, where, as, your different team members, where are you all working? Are there office buildings? Like what's that kind of work environment look like for teammates, and kind of how big company size too would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I mentioned earlier, I started there was, 18 people, a little under 20, and majority of them were based like just outside of Detroit. So when I joined, Signal had been open, I think a little under 2 years before I joined. So obviously there was a point in time where people were going to the office like pre-COVID. Yeah. So and we still have that same office building in downtown Detroit in the Madison building. And so when I joined, it was like permanently like remote. And once in a while we would all meet up in the office. But then as the company grew, and specifically the technology team grew, we started adding, different people from all over the country. And so kind of had like the two parallel paths of it's getting more and more easy to be able to meet in person, but then we had more and more people that were kind of like outside of like the local area.
Yeah.
And so we do have different groups throughout the country that there are multiple people that do work in similar areas. So like they have like met in like, brick and mortar places, but nothing like officially like Signal owned. But one of the things I really do like is that, now if you are in the Michigan area, we try to meet once a week on Wednesdays. And we also do really good job of whether it's like a team retreat or once a year we do a big company event. So it flies everyone into Detroit so that you can meet people in person. So I think it's been really helpful to kind of have that blend or that hybrid of, yes, we are a remote company. Yes, we're all over the country, but it really helps us establish that, that culture, even if it is 90 to 95% remote.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for walking through that. It can be such a nice balance to have that remote flexibility, still make sure the team is getting together for a fun retreat. The Wednesdays in Detroit are really fun for those within driving distance too. So,
yeah, totally.
That's kind of the beauty of both worlds. Perfect. So I think you're really starting to get into Signal's culture there. I mean, that's part of it is kind of that work model, but talk to us a little bit more. Describe Signal's culture. What are the significant elements? Like what's really making an impact on the business through the culture?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's pretty obvious to state, but like having a remote company, it's the initial thoughts are like, how do we like have that personable like quality and like where you can actually connect with people, both like at a personal level, but also to help connect each of the different team members in the different departments to help achieve that, that mission statement and that goal for the company. And so what I really do appreciate about Signal is, and it kind of applies to actual like, work things that need to be done, but also from a culture standpoint is that, you're given the freedom to, if there's something that you feel like needs to be, added to whether it's like having a book club or being able to like add additional content to help people either understand what you're working on or just helping to bring the company together. They allow you to kind of take ownership of that, and so like I've always appreciated that. Like for example, we give away we call them coins. There's a couple behind me, and each of the coins represents like a different pillar or like a philosophy for the company, and if someone like exudes that particular quality, someone else can nominate them and they can win that cool. Coin. And we do like a coin ceremony. Right now I think it's once a month, but what I also appreciate about it is we would announce it, we'd do like slides and kind of show here are the coins that we're giving away and kind of talk through like the definition and what it means. But I remember just like thinking that, oh, it'd be cool to kind of have like, video to kind of like, demonstrate that and like be able a little buffer that we could play before we like, actually award those coins. This is before we even had like a media team at Signal. So I kind of just like went ahead and just did it myself just for fun because we were doing demo videos for the product team and leadership and everyone like loved it. And so now like we still play those videos before we award them every time. So it wasn't a question of like, oh, I was told to do it. And it wasn't like, I'm just going to do it because like I want bonus points. It was kind of just like, thought it like it was a fun idea. We did it. And like, there's so many examples of that, of people just trying to kind of just pump some life into the company. Cause when you are at a startup, sometimes it can feel like, okay, everyone's kind of heads down. We have so much to do and it is very exciting, but we are always able to kind of take a step back and like, how do we focus on the business along with being in the business. So
I love that. That sounds so fun. And I mean, it is just such a fun way to engage, especially when you all are in heavily remote. So totally. Very cool. Thanks for sharing, Ian. Next question here. So, I mean, we kind of talked about culture was this, this kind of mindset and environment, but benefits also play into that. So I'd be curious, do you have any favorite like company benefits or perks that you think people would be excited to know about?
Totally. Yeah. We have a bunch of different like initiatives. Like we have like a wellness stipend that allows people to, it's and what I love about it, it's pretty open to what they feel like will help their, mental, physical, like wellness. So it's like a monthly stipend that I've always appreciated. And another really important one that I think is crucial to your company's success is a continued education focus as well. And so it's awesome, especially being on the technology side. Like things are always evolving, changing, and you want to make sure you're always staying fresh and up to date with like new technologies that are coming out, new approaches, and new
Hmm.
processes that can help you out. So I think that's a really crucial bonus or benefit as well.
Yeah.
And though it might not be like a benefit or a perk, but like I was touching on earlier, the fact that they'll give us opportunities to meet in person and not just like the
Hmm.
company event is awesome, but specifically for like the technology team, like we all have
Yeah.
different like projects we're working on, and we do have like touch bases like as a team, but allowing us to have 2.5 days to kind of like focus on new ideas, new things to make our team
Hmm.
better. I think that is a very underrated benefit
Yeah.
that we get, because it really puts things in perspective, and it's not just like all the deadlines you're trying to hit. It's like, where are
Yeah.
we taking this team, and in turn, where are we taking the company?
Yeah. A lot of opportunity for innovation, for creativity, for trying,
Yeah, and for
and all
growth,
of
like
that.
both like
Yeah.
personally and for the team too.
Yeah. And I think that makes such a huge impact on kind of where our company can go. So that's awesome.
Totally.
Um, so I know in startup life, as fun as it can be, as you said, you're oftentimes really heads down. Curious, how does leadership really help promote work-life balance and flexibility? I'm sure, remote flexibility is part of that, but would love if you could continue to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, and it can be tricky. We touched on the whole like just being remote and the
Hmm.
connectivity there. But I think another
Yep.
big challenge that companies can face is with time zones, when people are
Hmm.
available. And I will say, like, that's never been like a major issue, because I think we do a good job of setting goals of what we need to do. Well,
Yep.
whether that on the technology side, we do like 2 week sprints, and then
Hmm.
we have company, we call them OKRs, so like our objectives, and we do those by
Yep.
quarter. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
different like milestone like check-in dates, and what I think that does is like what you're responsible for,
Yep.
who the different resources are to help achieve those goals, and I think that allows you to have more autonomy on, okay, I know what I
Hmm.
need to achieve, and I don't need to like clock in. I don't need to like measure every single second of what
Hmm.
I'm doing, but I know that we have to achieve these certain things.
Hmm.
But also, like, if you ever need like assistance, or like that might be challenging to hit those goals,
Yeah.
we have ways to kind of call that out and like really work together as a team and help achieve those goals together, so you don't feel the pressure that like I have to do all these things myself and no one's there
Yeah.
to support me. We definitely have a really good supportive focus as well, which helps with that.
Love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Awesome. I have two questions for you left, and then we'll wrap things up.
Okay.
When I'm searching for a job that I love to ask my interviewees is, what is it about your time at Signal? Why is it that you stay? Like, just what have you loved about your experience there? If you can kind of sum that up, and what keeps you around.
Yeah, that's a really really good question. And it's funny too, because a lot of times, and I think it's a natural thing for everyone to do, is when you're like potentially looking for a new opportunity, or you're like just starting the new
Hmm.
opportunity, and even like as you like have different like milestone like dates of like first year, second year, you naturally will kind of compare it to previous work experiences or what you've like
Yep.
heard, and like I think sometimes there can be that, oh, the grass is always green on the other side. And then what I really have found at Signal is like anytime that like maybe it's like a little bit stressful because you're trying to hit a deadline, or
Yeah.
something's not working exactly how you like hope to the first time, like just thinking about previous like work experiences and how like that stress like would really evolve into something like very toxic almost.
Hmm.
And I'll just like constantly remind myself, like, this is like, there's not any actual stress where you don't see any way out. You
Yeah.
instantly have like a community of people, both like directly on your team or throughout the company, that you will be able to then just be able to push through that. And then
Yeah.
the next time a similar challenge comes around, you already have like handled that, and like that support is always there. So I think that's one big thing. And I also think surrounding yourselves with individuals that have different skill sets and different areas of
Hmm.
expertise. Specifically, when you have business side, that's financial advising, we have people that just know that side of the business so well,
Yeah.
and then you have people that have experience more technology but have maybe worked in different areas. I think that everyone like wants to learn more and grow individually, But to think that everyone trying to learn more and achieve more, you never feel like it's kind of becoming redundant or like anything's like tedious. It
Yeah.
becomes, what's the next thing that we can do? And it's more energizing as opposed to like deflating of like, oh, it never stops. It's like it never stops, and that's what we love about it.
Hmm. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So just kind of wrap things up. Any final thoughts you want to share with candidates, especially, if they're, considering joining the Signal team, applying to a role? Yeah, just any final thoughts or advice for them?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I haven't touched on yet is, I think a lot of times, regardless of where you are in your career,
Mhm.
you are always thinking like, what's like, where am I going to be in 5 years, 10 years? Like,
Yep.
what is like my like individual goal for like my career? And I think like since joining Signal, I start off as like a product owner, which is like a specific role to what we needed at the
Hmm.
time, and then my roles kind of evolved a couple different times based on the stage that like the company was in, or what like
Yeah.
what we needed to be able to like achieve that mission statement. So I think that for anyone that's looking, to apply to potentially join Signal, it's like you don't have to have your whole entire like career figured
Yeah.
out, but like, and also you could have things that you're good at and you like still love, and like, and that's what you can bring to the table. But if you ever are interested in like, continuing your education, like touching on the that initiative that we provide, I think they
Hmm.
really provide that ability to kind of expand and kind of explore other like opportunities to grow within like the ecosystem of Signal. So if you don't have it figured out, or if you don't know if it's going to be a fit, I would suggest like just seeing like how your skill sets match, and knowing that you can evolve and grow too, which is a beautiful thing.
I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ian. Folks, if Signal Advisors sounds like the place to be for you, be sure to look them up online, check out their open jobs, follow them on LinkedIn. But yeah, thanks so much, Ian, for your time, and for everyone for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.